if you saw this and you market enter this on this candle and it sold off, right? It sold off. You were trying to risk just this small portion in order to make all of this. So you were trying to risk $195 in order to make how much? In order to make about $750. And if you wanted to wait for a reversal, if you wanted to wait for a reversal, there is your target. If you wanted to wait for a reversal, you were trying to what? You were trying to risk just this small amount up here in order to make all this. In order to make all this part down here. So given other stuff and your position size and say you were risking just you were risking $1,000 here, you would have made this at least 3 times or 3.7 times. So you'd have risked just this one time and make your money. So you'd have made like 35. If you were risking $1,000, you would have made $3,700 just by selling this retest right here. Just actually the risk. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down actually to exactly where it's supposed to be. So yeah, look at that, right? You're trying to risk just this small amount to make all of this. So that's how you actually identify them and you take them and you actually call this type scalping because that was a very small, tiny time frame, which things could literally change drastically as a change. But mind you, this is still a downtrend, but we say what happened? This happened towards the bottom of a downtrend, and this happened in an existing downtrend. Let's map these two areas. This happened in an existing downtrend, and this happened towards the bottom. That is towards the bottom of this bottom. That is towards the end of this trend because the trend ended here. The trend ended here, but you know, this happened towards the end. That is why I say you don't trade just this by themselves. When you see it, okay, there's a potential, there's something signifying that, okay, we have something coming up. So you should be aware that there could be a potential reversal in trend. As you can see, in 1 minute, you've identified this and your trend ended not far after that. And again, you've identified this on a continuation of a trend. And what happened? The trend continued to the downside. It never ended. It never reversed it from there. So yes, that is just one of those stuff. And let's see, what else do we have? 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 Okay, we talk about tweezer bottoms. Actually, let's see, 1 minute give you that tweezer's bottom. Well, ideally, you want to say this is structural double bottom. This is not a perfect example for a tweezer bottoms, even though they're rejected at the same place. They're rejected at the same place. This is where this high came, this low came at, and it closes right there. And this one opened immediately after that. So it rejected a little bit here, right? And this and closed here. So this was a very thick red sell pressure from the previous trend. And it ended here. It closed here. It came all the way lower as this, but it closed here. Then the next candle was a green candle. Remember, I told you guys the formation of the next candle likely depends on the closure of the previous candle. So ideally, the way this candle looked and the way it closed, this one should have been a red candle. This one should have been a next red candle. Shouldn't have been shouldn't have been a closure, shouldn't have been a green candle. So yes, we can all agree that this is our tweezer bottom. Like I said, the way you see it on that picture won't look exactly like this, but it's an idea that when you see it, you can trade it. All right. So when you see it, you can trade it. So, but if you really wanted to do something just like a structure, you'll see that when after that happened, price came back to this area again, right? But it never closed below that. It came below it, but it never closed below that. Remember, I told you guys until price closed a certain area, until price break and close a certain area, meaning that if this candle would have ended below this line, this would have not been that bottom. So this was the bottom here, not even just this. This was the bottom. This was the first signal. So yeah, this is your tweezer bottoms. This is definitely classified as your tweezer bottom because the price came here. The second time it came there, it bounced and it bounced immediately because this never closed below here, and the bottom actually found from here. So apparently, what happened here was probably a stop loss, a sweep, potential sweep for people that enter a trade here because there's something called where market makers push the price just enough to take you out before continuing. That's exactly what happened here. So if somebody enter on this bounce after these candles, which I don't know if we have told you guys about this was already fade candle. They were not healthier like this, so this would have been rough. If you were in the trade like this with a pro experience, you probably would have caught your loss around somewhere here because this candle looked at ill, they looked at sick, they never looked at healthier like this. And plus the other block that trigger all this move was never breached. So yes, this is still a lower high until proven otherwise. But yes, what we are trying to say is this was the actual bottom, and this actually was to take people that enter a trade up here. Like that put their stop loss there. Look, it just swept them off, get back on the same track, get back on the same track, and started moving. So yes, how many of those ones have we identified? We've identified a three foreign method. We've identified three stars in the south. We've identified tweezer bottoms, and what else we talk about that we haven't identified? Mm, let's let's look for an uptrend. Let's look for an uptrend and identify some other stuff there. Nothing really. All right, okay.
It's coming. Okay.
Ethereum. What is going on? Okay. Ethereum. Okay, let's look for some stuff that happened towards the top. So we've talked about. Okay, let's look for a bearish engulfing candle. So, okay, we are assuming that there's been an uptrend. There's been an uptrend. Let's see if we have something that led to a continuation, or let's see if we have some stuff that are signifying a potential reversal. Right, we have something. wouldn't say this was a bearish engulfing because we didn't really get this high taken, so not really consider that. Yeah, nothing that we've talked about there. Guys, give me a second. Let me see. Well, let's go back to that picture one more time and see. So let's get back to this one more time and see what we explained and see what we haven't identified. We've talked about this. I mean, we've identified the bottom one, so you can just use the same for the top. We've talked about this. We've talked about this. It was this. So just look for this in an uptrend. Okay, so let's look for this. And let's look for this. Let's look for this. And what else? Okay, this, right? So we're looking for bullish manhood. We're looking for morning stars. We are looking for bearish engulfing. And we are looking for bullish to destroy. I think that 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We're looking for 4 more stuff. Let me see, let's look this on the 8 chart, because it's some different bigger picture. That's just like 15 minutes. Yeah, what about 15 minutes? So we want to look for an uptrend. Let's try an uptrend, man. All this stuff already happened. Towards the downtrend. Let's look for okay. I think 30 minutes give us more better. Great. Right. Probably we are going to have something here. So towards the end of this uptrend, we are looking for a potential engulfing candles. Yeah, this is an engulfing candle. Actually, this is another one. No, this is not an engulfing candle. It has to close below this. This is not, but this is. But I would have loved if this has a wick like above here. This is an engulfing candle, actually, a good one. And
Okay, same time next week.
Please, I just meet some people. Can you guys all mute yourself? I don't know who's on. I cannot be trying to find this stuff and I'm trying to meet you people. Oh gosh. Hmm. This. Oh no. Oh, okay. We're looking for evening star as well, right? So that happened towards the bottom of an uptrend. So toward the top of an uptrend, which is a big green candle followed by a doji, then a tick red. So do we see? Okay, we don't see none. Let's use 1 minute and see if towards this top there was something like that. Hmm. This look like something, but look for established one. Oh, yeah, this is not the top of an uptrend. I thought we were all the way down. Guys, this is going to take a little bit of time, all right? Because you won't find every of this every time you open a chart. It could be on some different chart, but let's just take it slowly and see if we can get some. See if we can get some of those. Oh gosh, here's 1 minute is taking you to some. It's 5 minutes. Hmm. Those, no. Let's go to Bitcoin. Go to what's Bitcoin top $126,000. Let's try to map it so that when we are done, well, since we are not seeing a good evening star, that's it for you with the 4 hours, right? You have your strong bullish candle and then you have your indecision candle right there. Mind you, if we see the one that looks like what we just showed you guys, we will show you. But remember, I said this happened towards the top of an uptrend, and this is exactly the top of Bitcoin. And you see something like that, right? You have 3 candlestick pattern, one existing from a current uptrend. Remember, this was a current uptrend, one existing from here, being this good bullish candle, then followed by an indecision candle. Remember, this is a Gravestone Doji candle, and then you have that red. You have that red green red candle, red bearish candle, and yeah, we can all agree that these 3 candlesticks was your evening star. I just really wish we can see something that looks like really beautiful. That don't look presentable at all. Most of the time, use on this, on this, on this, on this. Okay. Maybe within 1 hour something happened. Yeah, nothing really happened in 1 hour. Yeah, so that is where we saw that 4 hours evening star. And what were we supposed to be doing again? The three bullish three stripes, bullish three line stripe is supposed to be that 3 green candle followed by 1 red candle that cover it all. So, and this happened in an existing uptrend. And where can we find that? Really hard, huh? Okay, that looks like a downtrend. So if it's not on this, okay, now that is a downtrend, let's see if we can find it in a downtrend.